chill.
Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying Model Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest action figure video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk about the nerdy news that you need to know about. It's the only news that matters. It's good news. So let's talk about it. First up, Marvelous News are reporting that we will possibly be getting a deluxe Mojo this year. So very similar to the deluxe MODOK that we got last year, I think they want to give us another big, gruesome, disgusting villain. And I'm all for this. It's been a long time since we got a Mojo figure. He was a Build-A-Figure from the Toy Biz era in the long ago, and he still holds up. I've got that Mojo. I bought him at a Comic-Con just recently, and he's a great looking figure, just like the Build-A-Figure MODOK was from all those years ago. But when they went and did the upgrade, boy howdy, did it look like a good upgrade. So if this is going to come off, which likely it will do, because Marvelous News, they are normally on the money. So I think this is one that we can definitely look forward to. And if we get Mojo, then that might open up the door to Shatterstar and Longshot and all those other well-known Mojoverse. Spiral! That was the one who I was thinking of, because Shatterstar we already have a figure of, actually. He's a little bit old now, but still. Longshot and Spiral, those are the big ones. If we get Mojo, then they can't be far behind, so that definitely is something to be excited about. But something to be very excited about, and what should have actually been the top story, but I just got things in the wrong order in my little noggin up there, the old grey mare, she ain't what she used to be, is that Mattel have rescinded, apparently, their copyright claim dispute against those two Jurassic Park YouTube channels that they just had crushed beneath their copyright boot heel for daring to talk about toys that they had received information on legally and above board, and they didn't do anything wrong, basically. And Mattel were upset because something came out before they wanted it to, and they got the two channels just struck off of YouTube. So shady. I had a whole big rant about that last time, but it turns out that due to public pressure and common sense, when you look at it for like 2 seconds, Mattel have acquiesced and moved back from that. The channels have been reinstated. And this is an important lesson, I hope, not just for Mattel, but for YouTube. YouTube will always side on the big company that's saying there's a copyright issue. They will play it safe. And again, YouTube are just a big corporation as well. But I also don't blame them for doing that. You're always going to err on the side of caution and then try and figure it out. At least it looks like there was no long-term damage done. And actually, if anything, this has probably done wonders for those channels' subscriber numbers. I mean, no one had heard of these. No, that's not fair. Plenty of people had heard of these guys, but I guarantee you a whole bunch more have heard about them now. To be honest, if I got unfairly cancelled, that might do me wonders. So I hope that this actually ends up being a positive thing for these guys. Would I want to go through the nonsense that they have? Absolutely not. Sounds like a nightmare. But still, it sounds like we might have a happy ending. So with that in mind, I'm going to keep on reporting on Mattel stuff because it seems like they might be trying to make amends for their shocking behaviour. Doesn't mean they're not going to win the biggest Unmodel Behaviour award at the end of the year. I'm pretty sure they've got that locked in now. But still, it's nice to know that there's possibly a happy ending to this story. Had to take off my hoodie. I was working up a sweat there. And you get to see the beautiful baby blue Model Behaviour t-shirt. You can get your own ones at teespring.com. Link in the description below. But enough about that. I want to talk about 5K Toys. You know, one of the best, most beautiful Build-A-Figures last year was Ursa Major. How would you like that? But even better, well, that's what 5K Toys are going to do with their giant Bear Man character. I think, funnily enough, going from one copyright thing to another, I think what 5K Toys specialize in is just making legally distinct versions of existing characters, and they do it so well. So this guy, they've shown the preview images. He looks amazing. So if you like that Ursa Major, but you just want a bigger, meaner, more badass Bear Man, he looks so good with the blood effects and the slashing effects, all the articulation there, the details, the paintwork. I'm really impressed. This is the same 5K Toys that gave us the Samurai Leonardo that I'm so annoyed I didn't pre-order. And they're giving us the Leatherhead as well. And then there's all sorts of stuff. If you go on their website, you're like, how can they get away with making these figures that are not the copyright versions? I mean, God bless them. Keep doing what you do, guys, because you're killing the game. Quick little bit of news, McFarlane Toys have shown a group shot image of their Princess Bride figures, and I just think they look fantastic. Fezzik, Andre the Giant, he looks gigantic. That is going to be a big, chunky figure, as well he should be, but all the other ones, they look really, really great. So I'm a huge Princess Bride fan. I don't think I'll have the space for a Princess Bride collection, but just seeing these guys together, they look really, really cool. I just wanted to share that picture. And going back to Batman and McFarlane, these are some very McFarlane DC-ish heavy episodes. We've got some new release images of 3 more multiverse figures, and only one of them is Batman related, so we're getting better. First of all, we've got more pictures of the Arkham Knight, and as I was saying, he looks really great. No pistols, but I'm not going to belabor that fact. He's got a grapple gun, so it's kind of a compromise, I guess. But just generally, the sculpting, he looks awesome. He looks really badass, so I do like what they've done with that. And hey, he's wearing a helmet, so no side-eye, you're okay there. Then we have Reverse Flash, and I think this might be based off of the Injustice 2 costume. It's very busy. You know, very often Reverse Flash is literally just the Flash and reverse colors. Makes perfect sense, it's what the name implies. But this one, it looks like he's wearing some of the Injustice 2 style costume mods and accessories you get from playing 10 billion online games. So I think that might be where that's coming from, but he still looks kind of cool. Looks a little bit chunky, like it'd actually be quite difficult to run very fast in that, but you know, he's got superpowers, what are you going to do? And then there's Injustice 2, this is definitely Injustice 2, I believe. Green Arrow, Ollie Queen, and he looks like a boss, actually. That Green Arrow, he looks really, really cool. I like what they've done with him, the style, the sculpting. Typical McFarlane, really. A lot of work and effort goes into these. You might not like the joints and some of the artistic choices, but you can't really fault the sculpting. Most of the time, they really go hand with it. And with these 3 figures, it looks like that's what they've done. 3-0 had an exhibit recently in Japan and just showed off some of their wares and some of the products that are going to be coming out in the next year or so. And there's some interesting things here. Not much to have information on because shipping dates, release, prices, all that kind of thing, I think it's a little bit too far out. But we at least got to see some pretty pictures, and I like pretty pictures. So there's a Voltron robot there. He looks really cool. Again, that's all I can really say. But I mean, just look at him. You know, he's a giant robot. They form together. They merge to become a big thing. He's got cats for hands. He gets the bad guys and saves the day. Gotta love Voltron. We've got a little Marvel stuff going on there, a little bit of MCU and Miles as well. Not to mention the fact that also there's some Ultraman stuff, and Ultraman is where it actually gets a little bit more interesting, I think, because Ultraman is very sort of detailed, quite gnarly looking character designs. Ultraman's kind of cool, so I'm going to look forward to seeing how those pan out. But they've also got some video game stuff as well that looks quite cool. There are some Demon Soul figures on the horizon, so that's something to look forward to, because again, they're very cool, intricate kind of designs. I like the look of what's going on here. Then a real classic of mine, I'm quite excited to see these guys. We've got Sans and Papyrus from Undertale. I got a big spot in my heart for Undertale. I think some people might feel that it's a bit of an overhyped game. Maybe it is by this point, but still, I think there's a lot of wonderful love in there that I especially get from these characters. Then we've also got the Assassin's Creed dude. Don't know which one he is. Is it Ezio? I don't know. And also Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn. So there's a nice little video game component there too. But honestly, I think most of these things are all very, very far out. But it's nice to have a glimpse into the future. Now, one that's got me quite excited is that Hiya Toys have announced their Exquisite line. What a great word, exquisite. Not enough people use that in any circumstances really, but this might be a perfect name for a 1/12 scale line of figures from some properties that I am big into, mainly RoboCop. we could be getting closer to some non-McFarlane or non-NECA RoboCop figures, because I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of what we've got on offer at the moment. I really lament the fact that NECA are just reusing their old RoboCop body. Come on, guys, you can do better than that. So if Hiya Toys are going to go more into this 6-inch scale, they're also going to be doing the license of Rambo, G.I. Joe, Naruto. Then, of course, they've already got licenses for Aliens and Predator. So there's so much stuff that they can do in this line now. The fact that they're just going into the 1/12 6-inch scale, that's really, really exciting. So again, nothing to really report as confirmed, but we know that this is what they're going to be doing. It's something to look forward to. It's definitely some good news. And since Mattel might be trying to make amends for their awful ways and terrible behavior, I'm going to just mention that they have revealed a whole bunch of WWE figures. And I'm not going to go over each one individually, because if you care, you'll recognize who they are. And if you don't care, then it doesn't really matter if I give you their names or not. But these are the ones that they've revealed. And there are some decent looking sculpts there, like the British Bulldog from Wembley 92. He looks really awesome. But then you've got Bret Hart from that match, and I just don't know who Bret Hart upset at Mattel, but they really don't seem to like Bret. Every time they do his face, it's like, yep, let's see if we can just moosh this together, and there you go, that's Bret. It's like, what? Bret Hart is a beautiful human being, you savages! How do you butcher the man's face like that? Either way, that's why I don't collect them. But still, a lot of these figures are from what I would call the golden era of the mid-90s, which is actually probably the darkest point of WWE, but it's when I grew up, so hey, there's a lot of nostalgia there. And also there are some figures based off of the old, it's not LJN, but the figures that came out in the late 80s, early 90s, but with more modern articulation. There's like a Shawn Michaels there, and a Scott Hall and his NWO guys. It's kind of fun, they're going back to those styles too. So if you're into your wrestling figures, then there's a lot of fun stuff to collect from this Mattel kind of new release wave coming out. But besides the actual pictures, I don't have much info on them, but they do look kind of pretty. Speaking of Todd McFarlane, he actually did an interview recently where he addressed the side-eye controversy, and this was kind of fun. He acknowledged the fact that it's not necessarily the most popular way of doing eyes on action figures, but he said that he kind of sticks to his guns, and I admire that about Todd. He said that, look, just like I always complain about the mannequin expressions or the dead eyes or the glassy-eyed, vacuous kind of look, he finds that too when a character is looking dead ahead, straightforward. He just can't buy it. It looks odd. There's an uncanny valley. And he said when they're looking off to the side, it looks like a more human kind of expression. And you know what? I totally get that. I actually like the side eye. It's just a shame that it then means that, well, that is where your character is looking. Like, it feels like it limits things a bit. But hell, I mean, that's what Todd McFarlane used to do 100% for McFarlane Toys. They used to just be posable statues. It's like he decided that's what they're going to look like, and you can move the neck if you want. So actually, he's softened in his old age. He gives us proper articulation now, but he wants to control the eyes. So maybe we could just give him that, because I kind of like it, but it's fun that they spoke about it. I'm going to do a little custom corner here now. FN Webslinger 2099 on Instagram posted some pictures of a cel-shaded 2099 Spider-Man that he did. I'm not going to start showing off customs all the time, but a friend of the show sent this to me and I was like, hey, that does look kind of cool. I mean, we've seen some cel-shaded stuff with the animated X-Men coming out soon, but the fact this guy went extra hard. If you look at the photos, he's really done the little pen flicks on there, and then there's got the more sort of cloth material cape. That is what a 2099 Spider-Man should look like. I dig it. But I mean, then again, it's all down to, you know, your mileage varies depending on whether or not you like cel-shaded paint jobs. But I just thought that looked really cool. I was glad to have seen it, so I thought I'd share it with you. Going over to TV news, Variety have shown a whole bunch of preview images from the Lord of the Rings TV show. Honestly, me personally, I'm not a big sword and sorcery person, so I don't know if this is going to resonate with me. It looks very pretty. All right, like the cinematic vistas, the color, the people, like it looks like a pretty show. But the thing is, again, Sword and Sorcery, I got into Game of Thrones because it was like, boobs and bums and dragons and nudity and all that kind of like, good fun stuff that kind of gets you into it. Like ultra gore and nastiness and nakedness and monsters and zombies. All the stuff that Lord of the Rings is not gonna have. So already I'm thinking you're gonna have to work really hard to get my attention here. Now, a lot of people are seeing these pictures and being like, oh, this is just, why not call it Woke of the Rings or Lord of the Wokeness? Oh, get woke, go broke. Oh, Lord of the, oh gosh, it's gonna be so tiring hearing that. It's gonna be desperately tiring hearing this, and prepare yourself, because when this show comes out, when you go onto YouTube, all the thumbnails you're gonna see is woke Lord of the Rings crashes and burns. It's like, it's such an easy target. Maybe it will be as well. I'm not gonna do those videos because I think that they're just low-hanging fruit, but it does seem like it might be going in that direction. I don't know. It strikes me as a show that might love the smell of its own farts. I don't know. I'm gonna give it a try, but right now I am waiting to be convinced, and honestly, they might have their work cut out for them. But in slightly more exciting widescreen news, DC have shown a sizzle reel type trailer for their upcoming movies. So they spliced in various clips of The Batman, Flash, Black Adam, and Aquaman. Nothing really new. There's no sort of new information that we didn't know about, but it looks pretty. And I tell you what, it has a different feel to it. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't look as pompous as the Zack Snyder movies, and it doesn't look as kind of frivolous or silly as if they were trying to emulate Marvel. It almost looks, dare I say, like DC might have actually found their voice. And if that's the case, we might, after about a decade of non-starters, we might have actually found what works for DC. Black Adam looks like kind of badass fun, Aquaman very regal, Batman gritty but kind of heartfelt. There's something about Batman I feel, it looks like it's going to be kind of like, I'm going to care about this Batman. That actually counts for a lot. And Flash might actually be the one that really blows things up, especially with all the Michael Keaton type rumors, and not even rumors, but we know that things are happening. We don't know what exactly, but exciting things are happening. So honestly, this is the most anticipation I've had for DC since the start of the Snyderverse, really. So honestly, based off of what we might be getting, I'm all in. And finally, we've had one more trailer for the new Ninja Turtles game, which I'm so excited for. I've covered it on this show before, and it's essentially a new version of the old arcade beat-em-up. Not a remake, but just taking that style and then making it with all the new modern gaming kind of mechanics, but with that classic retro pixel sort of art. The new trailer shows Splinter as a playable character, and it just looks joyous. It looks like it's going to be so much fun to play. I cannot wait to get my hands on this. Still no official release date, but we've got to be getting so close now because they've been showing trailers for this for months. This is like the 4th or 5th trailer by now, so they're going to have to be dropping it very, very soon. And when they do, I might have to just like bulk film a bunch of videos and then take off my pants, crack a beer, and spend the next couple of days just playing Ninja Turtles. Cannot wait for this. And folks, that does it for Good News for today. I hope you enjoyed that. It was maybe a little bit rambly, but had a lot of energy inside me. So maximum excitement, probably zero useful, tangible information. But we got to talk about toys, and honestly, it's the whole reason I run this channel. So guys, thanks very much for watching, and until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
Verily, mortals, 'tis I, Hercules, the Prince of Power, telling you that if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons, and don't forget to smash that notification bell, just as I would smasheth evildoers. And if you want to go one step beyond in supporting the channel, I'd like to go one step beyond with you. Then you can go over to patreon.com/displaying model behavior. Don't know why I said it like that. Where you can watch all the exclusive videos on there. And if you want to cover up your chest, if you are not as ripped and beautiful as I am, then you can buy yourself a model behavior t-shirt over at teespring.com. Check the link in the description below. Anyway, that's all from me. Toodaloo. So, what do you say? You and I, get away from me, you creep. Ow! Oh, I probably had that coming very well.